Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It is a hot and muggy day here on the east coast of Florida. We're at Tradition Field, a spring home of the New York Mets, and a chance for the Yankees to traverse the state. They've come up from Tampa about 160 miles. They're going to see some old friends. There's a former manager, Joe Torre, on hand, talking to Curtis Granderson, another former Yankee, and Joe Girardi with former Yankee hitting coach Kevin Long. Today, presented by Verizon Finance, it'll be the Yankees and the New York Mets from Tradition Field in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with David Cohn this afternoon. We'll have the action for you. Now, this is the time of spring training when things start to really come together. And, of course, that includes the pitching. And for the Yankees, CC Sabathia will be making his second start today. And, David, there was a little bit of good and a little bad in his first outing against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I mean, that's to be expected after a long offseason of rehab for Sabathia. His first pitch of the game was 96 miles an hour, though, I'll tell you that. CC Sabathia's velocity really surprised the Yankees. They're extremely pleased with what they saw. Now, obviously, a couple of mistakes by his own admission. That's to be expected in the first spring training start. But Sabathia averaged probably about 92 to 93 miles an hour on that fastball. You'll take it. The Yankees are very pleased with what they saw from Sabathia.
Here are the numbers from that first outing as Sabathia gets ready for his second start this afternoon. 2 innings sent the Blue Jays, a couple runs on 4 hits. And this is what CC thought of his initial outing against Toronto.
Felt pretty good. Nerves. I was just telling the guys I was really nervous in the bullpen. Just wanted to get out there and be healthy, and felt good throwing the ball, and made a couple of bad pitches, but I still, I just wanted to get out there and kind of get the game feel and get after it, and I did that.
Well, we've got a primetime pitching matchup this afternoon in front of a sold-out crowd in Port St. Lucie. CC Sabathia for the Yankees and Matt Harvey, the Mets ace, on the mound for New York. Coming up next is Jack Curry to break this down.
Training games are all about getting your players ready for the regular season. But today's spring training game between the Mets and the Yankees has some additional flavor because of the marquee pitching matchup between CC Sabathia and Matt Harvey. How big a game is this today? There will be a sellout crowd at Tradition Field, and there were even people along the side of the road early this morning holding up signs, "I need tickets." Why do they want tickets? Because they want to come and see a Sabathia-Harvey matchup. You look at Matt Harvey and who he can be for the Mets, and you know why the Mets are so excited. Sabathia has won a Cy Young Award. He's helped the Yankees win a World Series. The Mets believe that Harvey can do those same things for them, can come out, win a Cy Young, and be the kind of pitcher who can help get them to the promised land and win a championship. He missed all of 2014 with Tommy John surgery. That happened after he had started the All-Star game in 2013. So how did Harvey reintroduce himself to baseball this spring? In his first start, he was throwing fastballs at 99 miles per hour, and he was cracking off curveballs that looked like they were mid-season form. You want to see a great pitching matchup? It's coming up next. It's CC Sabathia against Matt Harvey. Ken Singleton and David Cohn will have the call from Tradition Field.
Great deals on Ford cars, trucks, SUVs, and crossovers. Visit tristateford.com. By the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know. By Baja Mar. Welcome to the new Riviera. And by Hyundai. Visit your Hyundai dealer to take advantage of our March sales event special offers on Elantra and Sonata. Very warm afternoon here in Port St. Lucie, Florida. There is Matt Harvey, the ace of the New York Mets staff. And he's getting ready to face the New York Yankees this afternoon here in Port St. Lucie. And we'll check out the New York Yankees starting lineup, as always, presented by Lexus. Didi Gregorius will lead it off. He'll be at shortstop. Stephen Drew will be at second. Batting third is Chase Headley. He'll be at third base. The cleanup hitter is Mark Teixeira, followed by Garrett Jones in right. John Ryan Murphy doing the catching this afternoon. Brendan Ryan will be the designated hitter. Jose Pirela will be in center. Ramon Flores will be out in left.
You see there is Matt Harvey, the man of the hour for the Mets in spring training so far. Very good. 8 strikeouts, only 1 walk, and that's pretty much the style of pitcher that he is. A power guy with great control. Similar to another former Met, Doc Gooden, when he first broke in. So far, so good on the scouting report from Matt Harvey. And coming off the Tommy John surgery, it's well documented. It's ironic that he comes off, and now Zach Wheeler, another great young pitcher for the Mets, is going to have to go on the DL and have Tommy John surgery. And back to the future. You know, he's a first-round pick in 2010. The Mets obviously have high hopes for Harvey. He's going to be the ace of their staff. And Sweet 16, he's a Tar Heel, North Carolina. So obviously March Madness, Kenny. There's a couple other Tar Heels in the house tonight. Andrew Miller and obviously Adam Warren, too. So you can imagine they're pretty happy with their Tar Heel basketball team right now.
Well, I'm sure they'll be rooting for them throughout the NCAA tournament. For now, we've got baseball. As Matt Harvey will face D.D. Gregarious leading off for the Yankees. D.D. having a pretty good spring. He hit .296, no home runs, and 4 runs batted in. Harvey, as we mentioned, made the All-Star team. Jack Curry mentioned it in our open. In his first full season in the major leagues, something that 3 other Mets were able to do. And right now, here's the first pitch of the ball game. And it is in there for a call strike. Tom Seaver, Jerry Kuzman, and Doc Gooden also made the All-Star team in their first full seasons as New York Mets. And those are 3 pretty good pitchers. Pitch is fouled back and out of play, and the count moves to 0-2 on Gregarious. Harvey today scheduled to throw between 70 and 75 pitches. He threw 53 in his last outing against the Boston Red Sox. 26 years old, be 27 in 5 days. The 0-2 pitch is hit high in the air to the left side. The shortstop Flores going back, but he's called off by the center fielder Lagares, who covers an awful lot of ground, and he did right there to make the catch for the out. Let's check out the defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. In left field, it's Michael Cuddyer, Juan Lagares in center, and former Yankee Curtis Granderson in right, David Wright at third, Wilmer Flores at short, Matt Reynolds, young second baseman, Lucas Duda will be at first, and Travis d'Arnaud will be doing the catching for Matt Harvey. Batting second is Stephen Drew. Had a home run the other night against the Braves in Orlando, hitting 179 on the spring, and he takes the first pitch from Harvey, and it's poured in there for a strike at 95 miles an hour. You can hear the pop of the glove all the way up here. Harvey looking for the sign from d'Arnaud. He's ready. And the pitch is fouled back and out of play.
You know, a lot of talk about Tommy John surgeries, Matt Harvey's case. Well documented. It's just no rhyme or reason to it. As a manager there, you see Terry Collins, you just don't know. You try to protect young guys, pitch counts, this and that, and there's really no way to tell what's going to happen.
And that one misses, just missed for a ball. And it's 1-2 on Stephen Drew. You saw Terry Collins there. A tough week for the Mets. You mentioned Zach Wheeler. Now will undergo Tommy John surgery. He was supposed to fit in right behind Harvey in the rotation. Pitch is grounded foul. And they had a reliever, lefty reliever, Josh Edgin. He's out for the year. Also Tommy John surgery. And Edgin was a big part of the Mets bullpen last year. And the Mets are supposedly in the market for another lefty to fill the bill out of the pen. In fact, they don't even have a lefty out of the bullpen right now. The 1-2 pitch on the way to Stephen Drew, and he takes it upstairs, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, we've heard Joe Girardi talk about the last 2 weeks of spring training as we enter it now, and a lot of deals can happen at the end of spring training. A lot of teams are waiting.
Another ball hit in the air, this time to the right side, and it's the second baseman Matt Reynolds. And he'll make the play, and that's out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down for the Yankees here in the top of the first. We're just underway. And Matt Harvey will face the Yankee third baseman Chase Headley. Headley's having himself a very good spring, hitting at .333 with a couple of home runs and 3 runs batted in. Swinging the bat well from both sides of the plate. Now, not all of the Yankee veterans made this trip. They mentioned it's about 160 miles from Tampa here over the Port St. Lucie. Pitch is in there for a call strike. Matt Harvey jumping ahead on the count once again. And David, I made that drive, and boy, there's a lot of flat space between Tampa and Port St. Lucie in the middle of Florida. Pitch is outside. It's a ball and strike on Headley.
About a 3-hour drive across the middle of Florida.
Kind of reminded me of my days in the Florida State League. Pitch is in there for a strike. Taking those bus rides.
Yes, I remember it well.
Stopping at a place called Yeehaw Junction. I came through there again. It brought back a lot of memories. A 1-2 pitch, and it's hit hard, but right at Reynolds. He fields it on a hop, throws the first, And the Yankees go in order here in the top half of the first inning. 1-2-3 against Matt Harvey. On to the bottom of the first, and here come the Mets. St. Lucie, Florida, CC Sabathia taking his warm-up tosses. He'll be getting ready for his second start of the spring. And this is the Met lineup that the veteran left-hander will face. Juan Lagares will be in center field. He'll lead it off. Former Yankee Curtis Granderson will be in right field. David Wright will be at third base, followed by Lucas Duda in the cleanup spot. He'll play first. Michael Cuddyer, signed as a free agent. He'll be in left field. Wilmer Flores will be playing shortstop. Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher. Anthony Recker, he's the backup catcher, but today he's the designated hitter. And Matt Reynolds will bat ninth, and he'll play at second base.
CC Sabathia is ready to go. His warm-ups are done. So far in the spring, just that one start. But the velocity was very good, as we've noted in our opening. And the scouting report for Sabathia, the long road back. Obviously, it was May 10th since he last started of last year. He's now the lone lefty with Capuano now on the DL in the Yankees rotation. And will he be the opening day ace? Question to be answered.
First pitch is outside, ball one. Joe Girardi before the game was asked by the reporters in the reporters scrum before the game about the opening day assignment, and Joe was non-committal. And maybe it's because they don't know if CC's going to be healthy enough. That pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 1-1 to Lagares.
You know, they've obviously played it very cautiously with CC Sabathia, allowing him to throw a couple of simulated games before actually getting into a spring training game. And it was by his choice to come over here today and pitch against the Mets. He wanted live action.
Pitch is hit in the air to center field, hit pretty well. On the move was Perella, still going back, and he can't make the play. He hits the wall, so does the ball. Lagares is on his way to third. In fact, they're going to wave him home. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is offline. It's going to be an inside the park home run, and the Mets take a 1-0 lead, and Perella is still down on the track in center field. Stevie Donahue and Joe Girardi. Donahue, of course, the Yankees head athletic trainer, and Joe Girardi, the manager, are going to check on the center fielder, who is still down after crashing into the wall in center field. Third base coach Tim Tuffle did not hesitate. He sent the speedy Lagares all the way around the bases. And Joe looks like he's calling for a stretcher. As Perella, the Yankees are seeing if he can play center field. And he just crashed into the wall headlong as he tried to make that play on the long drive by Lagares.
Yeah, very scary play as Perella just gives up his body to try to make that catch up against the center field wall, and at full speed crashes. As you see, he just gives up his body. He's trying to make that play and then head first into the wall.
Now the wall is padded, but to me it looks like there's concrete behind it. You can see the concrete just below the padding there on the wall, so that you run into it headlong, you're going to come out second best. Oh, my goodness. So Perella's shaking up. They're bringing a card over. And it looks like he is going to be out of the ballgame. So the Yankees right away are going to have to make a substitution or move some outfielders around. Slade Heathcott is now coming into the ballgame. It looks like he'll take over in center field.
Yeah, all precautions obviously are going to be taken with Pirela here, and potential head injury.
Concussions, and we know how careful they are with those in this day and age. And looks like they're finally going to get him to his feet. That is Stevie Donahue, the Yankees trainer.
So you can see, obviously, in these situations, both teams' trainers will cooperate. The Mets trainer out there as well.
And a round of applause for Pirela as he kind of shakily to be escorted to the cart. And then off the field. Ray Ramirez is the Mets trainer, longtime trainer.
You can see that Pirela is obviously very groggy as he went head first into the wall. It's a very scary play.
Well, as he leaves the field, meanwhile, Sabathia is still throwing some warm-up tosses just to keep loose here. Won't take many. As we told you, a very hot day. That is Ray Ramirez, the Mets longtime trainer, and Pirela leaning on him for support as he leaves the field. One more look at it, David.
See, almost makes the play. Just an outstanding effort. That's the kind of ball player Pirela has shown to be. Just all-out effort all the time. Hard to tell from that angle exactly what contacted the fence first, but obviously Pirela at full speed took a major blow.
Well, Pirela, Yankees are seeing if he can play center field. We know he can play second, he can play third. We've seen him at the corner outfield positions, but center field's a different thing altogether. A lot more room to cover. So Heathcott takes over in center for Joe Girardi, and he'll bring up the number 2 hitter, Curtis Granderson. There is Heathcott in center. Granderson having an outstanding spring, hitting .458 with a couple of home runs. And Sabathia's first pitch clips the outside corner for a call strike. Signed by the Mets as a free agent after a few years with the Yankees. That pitch misses. It's a ball and a strike, including years in which Curtis hit back-to-back years of 40-plus home runs. And the Mets are hoping Granderson being reunited with the former hitting coach of the Yankees, Kevin Long, will get him going once again. That pitch misses inside. 2 balls and a strike. Just missed. And as I said, so far so good. Hitting .458. Although you don't want to leave all your hits in spring training. 2-1 pitch. Check swing, and it misses outside, and it's 3 balls and a strike. There is Kevin Long. 8 years as a hitting coach for the New York Yankees. The Yankees offense struggled somewhat last year, and Jeff Pentley is now the Yankee hitting coach. 3-1 pitch is popped in the air down the left side, and this is going to be a long run for Headley, and the ball is going to drop and bounce it to the seats. The Yankees have the shift on. Headley's the only player on the left side of second base.
See, there's no way he's going to get there, even though this ball obviously stays in the field of play.
The wind is actually blowing from left towards right. So anything hit in the air to right field is going to get a boost. The 3-2 pitch. And it is slashed foul, knocked down by third base coach Tim Tuffle. I've been told that Granderson's been hitting the ball to the opposite field with a little more authority this year. Maybe working against the shifts that have been in play when he's hitting. Once again, the payoff pitch. And it's hit hard to the right side, but on one hop to Mark Teixeira. He gloves it, steps on the bag, and there's one down. The Yankees defense brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. In the outfield, Ramon Flores now is Slade Heathcott in center. Garrett Jones in right, Chase Headley at third, D.D. Gregorius at short, Stephen Drew at second, Mark Teixeira at first base, and John Ryan Murphy doing the catching this afternoon. 1-0 Mets. We're in the bottom of the first. Here's David Wright. And he too having a good spring, hitting at .348. First pitch from Sabathia, breaking ball in there for a call strike.
Well, a lot of hope for the Mets this year. High anticipation of a good year, but it still kind of starts right here. He's the captain. David Wright bouncing back as the leader of that offense.
Pitch is fouled at the plate over towards the Mets dugout, and the count is 0-2. Last year, Wright played with a bum shoulder and only had 8 home runs. The Mets, of course, are looking for more power than that from their longtime third baseman. 7-time All-Star, and he's the Mets captain. Right now he's behind on the count 0-2, and he takes one upstairs. A ball and 2 strikes, 93 miles an hour from CC Sabathia.
See that both Sabathia and David Wright trying to bounce back from down years and injuries.
Changeup is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sabathia, since he's been in the big leagues, nobody has had more wins or strikeouts. Ball is hit in the air to the right side, and it's going to be out of play back into the crowd. Not many seats available. In fact, it is a sold-out crowd. People are coming up to the ticket windows today, and they were told there's no room at the inn. No vacancy. The Yankees do not come to these parts very often. So a chance for Yankee fans and, of course, the Met fans over here to see the 2 New York teams play. Pitches over the inside corner for call. Strike 3. David Wright caught looking, and there's 2 down.
Well, in Sabathia's second start here in spring training, 93 miles an hour on the inside corner. David Wright frozen. So another good sign from Sabathia.
It's hard to be frozen on a day like today. Here's Lucas Duda, the Mets cleanup hitter. And he'll take one low one away for ball 1. Duda had 30 home runs a year ago. Only 3 National Leaguers reached that mark. Giancarlo Stanton, Anthony Rizzo, and Lucas Duda. Stanton led the league with 37. Rizzo had 32. Duda had 30. Breaking ball misses. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, I think the Mets finally pulled the trigger. Obviously, Ike Davis was a first baseman, brought up through the organization and had some success. And Duda, they were kind of banging heads. They needed to make a choice. They chose Duda and made the right choice. So he continues to improve against left-handed pitching, especially.
Ball is hit high and deep to right field. Going back is Jones, looking up, and this one is gone. A home run for Lucas Duda, and the Mets are leading 2-0. Now, you were talking about his improvement against left-handed pitching. He only hit 2 of his 30 home runs against lefties last year and hit 180 against them. But he told manager Terry Collins the other day he wanted to go to Lakeland to face David Price and be in the lineup today to face CC Sabathia. 2 tough lefties.
The fastball that's kind of middle in and up, and Duda just cuts him off at the pass. Just beats Sabathia to the spot. And with the type of power that he has, it's gone today with the wind blowing.
Pitch to Michael Cuddyer is low for ball 1. For Duda, that was his first home run of the spring. That pitch misses. 2-0. You always like to fill that column in spring training. Just to remind yourself you can still do it. Here's Cuddyer, signed by a free agent by the Mets. And he's expected to provide some leadership, veteran leadership. 2 balls and a strike, former Minnesota Twin, Colorado Rocky. A couple of years ago, led the National League in hitting.
Yeah, a real professional hitter and a real solid clubhouse presence. He and David Wright, very good friends, have worked out in the offseason for years.
Ball is fouled back to the screen, and it's 2-2. Both from Virginia. 15th Major League season. Twins, Rockies, and now the Mets. First round draft pick, 9th overall by the Twins way back in '97. 2-time All-Star. As we mentioned, a National League batting champion. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So a couple of strikeouts and a couple of home runs for the Mets here in the first inning. At the end of one, they lead the Yankees by a score of 2-0. They're back on their home court as they host the surprising Boston Celtics. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. with the Verizon Files pregame. Watch the Nets on Yes. These are big games coming down the stretch. The Nets are trying to make the playoffs. They'll be taking on the Boston Celtics tomorrow night. Right now, it's going to be Mark Teixeira, the Yankee cleanup hitter. The Yankees went 1-2-3 in the first against Matt Harvey, who now has a 2-0 lead. And his first pitch of the second inning is in there for a call strike. He's thrown a first pitch strike to every one of the Yankee hitters so far. Pitch is fouled back. Teixeira hitting at .219. He has a home run. He hit a home run at Steinbrenner Field to left center the other night. And a couple of runs batted in for Tex. That pitch a little bit high. 1-2. Matt Harvey, as we said, is going to lead the Mets staff. Jacob deGrom will fall in behind him. He's last year's Rookie of the Year in the National League. Jonathan Neese. Dylan G will take Zach Wheeler's place. That pitch is high, 2-2 in the rotation. And of course, they're all followed up by the Angels. Bartolo Colon, who just throws strike after strike after strike. If you can throw strikes, they're not going to let you go. 2-2 pitch. And Teixeira fouls it off. Harvey at 97 miles an hour. Now we're talking about Teixeira and the home run the other night. David?
Well, the impressive part, obviously, it was off speed and he stayed behind it. He didn't roll over it and pull it. He hit it the other way out. And Yankee fans would love to see a little more of that from Teixeira, especially batting left-handed.
Pitch is lined into center field for a base hit. So Tex is on with the Yankees' first hit of the afternoon. A leadoff single here in the second inning. We were saying this is a time of spring training when you want to get things going, whether you're a hitter or a pitcher. About, 15 days to go until opening day. Of course, the Yankees open up at home against the Toronto Blue Jays on April the 6th.
The best part about Teixeira this spring is that he is clearly healthy again, man. That wrist injury is in the rearview mirror. He hasn't missed a beat.
Teixeira's off and running. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw to second is not in time. A stolen base for Mark Teixeira. Lucas Duda did not hold Teixeira on. He was playing behind the runner with the left-handed hitting Garrett Jones at the plate. Teixeira says, I can fill this column too.
Yeah, why not? You see a great jump. He's halfway to second base before the catcher even receives the ball.
Now what that does, it kind of tells the scouts and attendants of other teams that you better hold them on. Swing and a miss. And that is strike 2 to Garrett Jones. There are the spring numbers for Garrett Jones, 222. Some would tell you there's room for improvement there.
One of my favorite shows growing up.
The 0-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed on a 94-mile-per-hour fastball, and he does not advance to share. There's one down. First strikeout of the afternoon from Matt Harvey.
Well, this is where you want to pitch lefties. Perfect above the belt and inside. A great finish pitch to left-handed batters, by and large, from a power righty.
Yeah, it helps to have that kind of fastball, though. You can get it in there. Here's John Ryan Murphy. He's doing the catching this afternoon for the Yankees. 2 for 22 this spring. That works out to 091. And he'll take a pitch over the outside corner for a ball strike. Murphy has a chance to be the backup catcher. Backup Brian McCann, who did not come on the trip. And he is fighting Austin Romine for that position. Pitch is hit high in the air to center field. Regaris is going back. He covers a lot of ground. The Gold Glover makes the catch. Teixeira, who went halfway, returns to second. That's out number 2. Juan Lagares is about as smooth as it gets in center field. Strong throwing arm, covers a lot of ground, and kind of makes it look easier than it really is.
He really does. And this fly ball showed you that the ball's really carrying here. As that went a little deeper than even Lagares thought it would, but as Ken said, he does make it look easy.
That must be a comforting feeling for a pitcher. When you know just about anything getting that direction, has a good chance of being run down. Here's Brendan Ryan, the designated hitter. Just back into the lineup recently. He was out with a sore lower back. He's had played one game and went 1 for 3. Today's the DH, and that tested the back a little. He had to back up, and it's ball 1, high and inside. Of course, Ryan comes with the reputation of being a solid glove man. And he takes another pitch inside. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes from Matt Harvey. And the feeling is if Didi Gregorius can hit lefties, he'll play just about every day. Now, if he doesn't, you might see a platoon situation by Joe Girardi with Brendan Ryan taking over against left-handers. But he's got to get Ryan some at-bats here. Good swing, and he fouled it back. 2 balls. That's the 2-0 swing you want to take. And you can see he's kind of upset he didn't make better contact. You look for a fastball, you get it. Maybe those 15 extra days, he'll be on it in about 2 weeks. Pitch is fouled off. Another good swing. Count levels at 2-2. Now, David, you have a unique perspective on this game. You played for both the teams and won championships with both teams. Is there any way to compare them, or?
Well, there really is. I mean, I remember opening up this spring training park here.
Oh, all right. That's what. Now, you weren't on the 86 Mets.
No, the 88 team, we won the National League East.
That's what I was referring to. Ground ball to the right side, and Duda bobbles it, but he's going to handle it. We'll get back to David's thoughts on playing for both the Mets and the Yankees when we come back. After 1.5, the Mets lead it 2-0. Another Soccer Saturday on Yes as New York City FC takes on Sporting Kansas City in front of a raucous crowd at Yankee Stadium. Watch New York City FC presented by Etihad Airways next Saturday night at 7, only on Yes. Well, there are some divided loyalties, and I'm sure that is the case all through Tradition Field today. Mets fan on the left, Yankee fan on the right. They seem to be getting along at this point. Maybe the Met fan has a bigger smile because they're ahead 2-0. And the first pitch is in there for a call strike to Wilmer Flores, the Mets shortstop. Well, these Mets are hitting well as a team this spring. 295 as a ball club, and Flores is up there at a 371 clip. Ball is hit hard but foul, and it's no balls and 2 strikes on the Mets shortstop. Now, David, a couple of booths down are some guys who taught you how to be Major League Baseball player.
That's right.
What to expect to be. What to expect as a major leaguer. I saw Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez before the game.
That's right, my old teammates. Got a chance to talk to him before the game.
Pitch is fouled off by Flores, 0-2.
We remember, we were talking about when this stadium here, Tradition Field, first opened. We broke in, and it's back in 1988. Tradition Field, as you see Keith Hernandez on the left and Ron Darling on the right. A couple of great teammates.
Swung on and missed, and Sabathia picks up his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. 1 down here in the second.
Sabathia up the ladder. Seen a lot more 4-seamers from Sabathia. If you remember last year, early in the year, there's a lot of talk about Sabathia having to learn a 2-seam fastball, have to change his style. Not so far this spring. I mean, you really don't worry about the results as much. I know it sounds like a cliche. He's giving up give up a home run to Duda here, but Sabathia's throwing a ball in the mid-90s again.
Breaking ball to Travis d'Arnaud is in there for a call strike. Now, one thing CC did over the winter, he put the weight back on.
He did, and that was by design. He really felt like it helped his balance to be able to transfer that weight and add power to his fastball.
Pitch is low and away on a changeup, and it's a ball and a strike on d'Arnaud.
The difference being, obviously, if Sabathia can get back up into 92 to 94 miles an hour with his fastball, it makes all of his other pitches that much better. Brings his changeup back into play as a really effective pitch for him.
Pitch is popped up, and coming back for a look is John Ryan Murphy, and this is going to land into the Yankee dugout. And if he can get that fastball back in the easy pass zone, he'll be, the strikeout type pitcher. He's got 3 strikeouts and an inning and a third here.
It's been a very pleasant surprise for the Yankees to see Sabathia get his power back. And a veteran guy like Sabathia, if you give him a little bit of his power back, he knows what to do with it. He'll figure it out throughout the course of the season. It's not about talking about adjustments and making transitions in his career. It's about getting back to the old Sabathia now all of a sudden.
Pitch is fouled back.
Right on cue, 94 miles an hour. Right on the fist. We didn't see 194 mile an hour pitch from him last year at all. And as a matter of fact, Sabathia starts, he rarely broke 90 miles an hour. All of his pitches were in the upper 80s. So far this spring, all of his pitches are 90 plus on the fastball side. So a complete reversal for Sabathia so far this spring.
Another one in the easy pass lane, strikes him out. Let's talk there. Let's listen to CC and what he has to say about gaining the weight back.
It was just the matter of me being comfortable in my body. I had lost it. Dealing with some heart disease in my family and stuff. So just wanted to make sure I was healthier and, putting back on the weight the right way. So, I think I lost a lot of my strength losing too much weight. And I think we put it back on the right way. So I'm happy with it.
4 strikeouts. In fact, 4 of the 5 outs he's recorded have been strikeouts. Here's Anthony Recker, who hits a ground ball into center field for a base hit. So a 2-out single to put a man aboard for the Mets here in the second inning. 3rd hit for the Mets. As Recker, who is expected to be the backup catcher to d'Arnaud, gets a start this afternoon as the DH.
The first pitch fastball hunting, and Recker gets it.
So CC will pitch with a man on here in the second inning. He'll face the number 9 hitter, Matt Reynolds, the second baseman. Now the Mets' regular second baseman, Daniel Murphy, tweaked a hamstring the other day in a game against the St. Louis Cardinals, and if he can't make the opening day roster, you might see this young man, Matt Reynolds, as the Mets second baseman. Pitches inside for a ball. Reynolds out of the University of Arkansas.
I was talking to Keith and Ronnie, as we mentioned before, doing the Mets game today in SNY. They really like this kid. So far, he's handled himself well. Good defender, and they like the way he handles the bat, too. If Murphy can't make it, they're comfortable giving this kid a shot.
There is a call strike, and it's 1-1. Well, Reynolds having a good spring, hitting .423 for Terry Collins. And all he did last year at AA and AAA was hit. Hit .355 at AA, .333 at AAA. Just off the outside corner for a ball, and it's 2-1.
Well, a lot of talk about Murphy and his hamstring injury, the regular second baseman for the Mets, and going to be a free agent at the end of this year. And there's been no talks of contract extension, or looks like they're going to just let him test free agency. And a lot of the reason has to do with this kid in the batter's box and projecting him maybe to be the future second baseman. And the future might be now because of Murphy's injury.
Well, teams are always looking for good players that are cost effective. Swing and a miss on a changeup, and a good one. That evens the count at 2-2.
There's the difference with Sabathia, as you see here. This is an 86-mile-an-hour changeup. Last year, his fastball was about 89 miles an hour. There's just not enough separation. Today, topping out at 94 miles an hour. Now that 86-mile-an-hour changeup is very effective.
Ball's hit hard, one hop to short. Gregarious to Drew for the force, and that'll do it for the Mets. Here in the second, no runs, a hit that leave a runner. At the end of 2, it's the Mets 2 and the Yankees nothing. with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with live radio broadcast stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Slade Heathcote will lead it off. He took over Perella, who was injured, and Heathcote lines one to right at Curtis Granderson. So the first pitch is laced in the right field, and Heathcote is out #1. Hit that one right on the nose. On our Audi A3 scoreboard, it's 2-0 Mets on the strength of 2 first-inning home runs. Here is the #9 hitter for the Yankees, Ramon Flores. He's got a home run this spring. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. David, we were talking about the Mets staff. And if Zach Wheeler had stayed healthy, they would have had some young, hard throwers. And as that pitch is swung on and missed, 0-2. Now, I know there might be some fans out there old enough to remember when I came up with the Mets. And the Mets had some young, hard throwers. This pitch is fouled back, led by Tom Seaver, Jerry Kuzma, Nolan Ryan, Gary Gentry, Tug McGraw, Danny Frisella, Jim Bibby. Now, with the exception of Tom Seaver, who was already in the big leagues, all those other pitchers were on my instructional team. Didn't give up runs very often. The pitch is fouled back. All of them, I would say, through somewhere in the mid to upper 90s. And that's the same sort of staff the Mets are trying to build now.
I can see why. That's why they're so excited. The Mets fans have been waiting for a while.
0-2 pitch is a changeup blown away 1-2.
You're right, Ken. I mean, they're sort of defined by pitching, the Mets. When they've won, even back in the 60s, you talked about Nolan Ryan and Seaver and the power guys, and then in the mid-80s, the 86 Mets with Dwight Gooden.
Swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch, and Flores is out number 2. Second strikeout. Ooh. Now we're really digging back. Hey, I actually got a hit there.
How could they trade that guy? What were they thinking? Just another one the Mets let get away right there.
Boy, that is some old footage. Not even in HD.
No ear flaps, the old school helmet.
You know what, though? It's in color. That's what I'm happy about. Pitch to Gregorius is in there for a called strike. Matt Harvey working on not only his fastball today. We've seen a few change-ups. Good breaking ball right there to Gregorius. Swing and a miss. 38 pitches thus far, and he's been all around the strike zone today. Ahead of most hitters. No balls and 2 strikes on Gregorius. Swing and a miss on a changeup, and he got it. Third strikeout, second of the inning for Matt Harvey. He's faced 1 over the limit after 3. At the end of 3 innings, or make that 2.5, it is 2-0 Mets. In part by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit MBUSA.com today. By Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. By Air France. France is in the air. And by Chrysler. Come in to get a great deal during the Chrysler Awards season event. Bottom of the third, CC Sabathia is still in there, and his first pitch is in there for a call strike. On our Audi A3 scoreboard, it's 2-0 Mets over the Yankees. Juan Lagares leading off for the Mets here in the third. He had a inside the park home run to lead off the ball game. Yankees center fielder Jose Perella crashed into the center field wall and was injured, had to leave the ball game. And Lagares circled the bases for his first home run of the spring. Bouncing ball over the mound. Lagares can't make the play. That's going to be an infield single. A little tough to throw Lagares out. He's got speed. Well, Lagares is now 2 for 2.
Well, we talked a lot about the athleticism of Girardi, and this is part of it. I mean, the range you're going to see this year, and he's got a great arm. I would have liked to seen him make that transfer. He realized that he had to be really quick with it and got a little ahead of himself. But he's got a cannon for an arm as well.
So Lagares is on with nobody out. And to bring up Curtis Granderson, who grounded out to Teixeira at first. Granderson 0 for 1. And that is in there for a call strike. And David, I got to agree with you. CC did not throw this well at any time last year.
Yeah, I'm personally thrilled with what I'm seeing. I'm sure the Yankees are as well. And obviously, you're paying attention to velocity and stuff.
Pitch is fouled off 0-2. Now, last year on Twitter, there were several fans saying they wanted the heavy CC back. And they got him. And maybe they were right.
You made a very good point in that interview that we showed in terms of, it's obviously everybody wants to be healthy and lose weight, but sometimes if you lose too much too soon, you can lose muscle mass as well. And CC did admit, felt like he lost a little power.
Pitch is popped in the air down the left side. A long run for Flores over near the Mets. Bullpen, and he makes the catch. Nice plays. He gets the ball back in quickly to hold Lagares at first base. We were talking about it before the game. It's always difficult for left fielders, shortstops, and third basemen to negotiate the bullpens that are down by the lines. You see the Mets scrambling, pulling chairs away. And Flores keeps his concentration and makes the play.
Obstacle course over there. Yeah. He had to go through a big ball bag. He just missed. And excellent play by Flores. Stay with that ball. On top of the bullpen mound.
So 1 down to bring up David Wright, who was called out on strikes his first time. CC deals inside ball 1 to the Met captain.
But clearly, Sabathia is much stronger this year so far than he was at any point last year.
Now, my feeling is, at this point, the way he's throwing, I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned, does the knee hold up? That's the deal. Pitch is fouled off, a ball and a strike. Yankee bullpen is getting busy. That's the tall right-handed Chris Martin. He should be next. CC's pitch count up to 47. Change up outside.
For me, Ken, this changes the whole equation with Sabathia. Obviously, the most important thing, health-wise, holding up his knee. Now you stop talking about him having to make a transition later in his career. Now he's kind of almost back to the old CC in terms of a power pitcher once again.
Pitch hit high in the air to right field and deep. Jones going back. This one's gone. David Wright goes against the traffic to the opposite field, and it's now 4-0 Mets. Third home run allowed by CC Sabathia today. Wright's second home run of the spring.
Well, David Wright's always had that kind of power the other way. You can see the ball's out over the plate, and the wind's blowing out to right field as well today here at Port St. Lucie. Once you get it up in the wind, that's gone today.
And I think the way to pitch him, at least nationally pitchers I've seen, they try to crowd him with the fastball, keep the hard stuff in, like CC did his first time up. Here's Lucas Duda, hit his first home run of the spring, back in the first inning. And he takes one inside for a ball. So David Wright having a good spring. And that is a good sign for New York Met fans. Obviously feeling much healthier than he did last year. The 1-0 pitch, and Duda takes it in there for a call strike. Duda, another one of those players, a long line of players out of University of Southern California. A lot of good baseball players out of that program. including Tom Seaver or Randy Johnson. Former Yankee Aaron Boone. Wow.
Yeah, the list goes on and on.
Fred Lynn. Yeah. Steve Kemp. Another pretty good player. 2-1 pitch. And Duda pops it up. This is to the right side. Let's see who's going to make the play. Stephen Drew will put it away, and that is out number 2.
Probably be Sabathia's last hitter on the day. Is obviously just his second spring's training start, and that may be it, as Girardi's going to come out.
He was supposed to throw about 40 to 45 pitches, got it up to 53. We'll be back as Chris Martin is coming into the game.
When you say
Port St. Lucie, the Mets are leading 4-0. CC Sabathia out of the ball game after 2 2/3, 4 runs, 5 hits, 4 strikeouts, and no walks. And David, I think you have a feeling it's a case of fine tuning.
I believe so. You know, obviously it's a results-oriented game, and you look at the line and the home runs, and you say, "Uh-oh." But from what I saw from Stuff, I think the Yankees are very encouraged. I know I am. He, once again, up in the mid-90s with his fastball. The wind's kind of blowing out here today. Gave up a couple, 3 home runs. But all in all, I think you have to be very pleased with what you're seeing from Sabathia.
Michael Cuddyer takes a pitch from Chris Martin, who's in there now with 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch is down and away for a ball. This is Martin's 7th appearance of the spring. Cuddyer was a strikeout victim in the first inning. And another pitch low and away. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. You remember when Cuddyer was a third baseman with Minnesota. He played a little first base and now has moved to the outfield in the latter stages of his career. Off the end of the bat, this is going to drop into left center field for an extra base hit. Cuddyer going to trot into second. He has himself a double. As he, like several other Mets, continues to have a very good spring. And he's in scoring position with 2 outs.
Well, Cuddyer, just an excellent hitter. Knows what to do when you get a pitch up out over the plate. He's actually a little out in front of that, but still stays back enough to drive it into the gap for an easy double.
So he's on second with 2 down. He'll bring up Wilmer Flores, the Mets shortstop. Flores, 23 years old, from Venezuela. Check swing. He went around too far, and it's strike one.
Well, obviously, Wilmer Flores is going to be the shortstop for the Mets this year, and it's going to be because of his bat. Questions about his glove, whether he can handle that position or not, and the Mets are finally going to pull the trigger and give him a shot to play every day at short.
Well, they say he's not flashy, makes all the plays. He
worked real hard in the offseason, kind of trimmed up to lose some weight and improve his range and his movement.
Say he's a Johnny Peralta clone. Ball is fouled off. Peralta's not flashy, but if the ball's hit to him, he usually makes the play. Mets 4, Yankees nothing. Mets on the strength of 3 home runs. An inside to Parker by Juan Lagares, a solo shot by Lucas Duda, and a 2-run home run by David Wright. And that pitch is in the dirt, knocked down by John Ryan Murphy, and the count goes to 2-2. David Wright. Been with the Mets a long time. Pitch is fouled at the plate. And you think of what he's done in the Mets uniform. He's the all-time leader in hits now for the New York Mets. He's up there in home runs, all the offensive categories. I think he's driven in more runs than any other Met. Of course, the Mets have been around since 1962. Those first days playing at the Polo Grounds before Shea Stadium was built. Pitch is fouled at the plate, and that one hurt. Flores down in the heap, and he is going to try and walk this one off. Even on hot days, that does not feel good. And you get to those early days of the season, when the season starts and you're playing in 40-degree temperatures or lower, this is extremely painful.
Well, those are the ones. I mean, the full swing, straight down. Immediately.
And this happens because just as you get ready to swing the bat, there's a little movement on the ball and you top it and it goes straight down. Flores is going to hang in there. He's going to stay in the game. Standing 8 count. He's back in there. There's Terry Collins, who now in his 5th year with the Mets, the oldest major league manager at 65 years old. There's always all types of pressure on major league managers to get the job done, but they're expecting big things from the Mets this year. Ball is fouled off by Flores as he hangs in there. Now they got Matt Harvey back. It certainly was a blow when Zach Wheeler went out with the elbow injury. But as we heard Joe Girardi say many times last year, next man up has to get the job done.
A lot of talk about whether they would trade Dylan G in the offseason or not. Now you know it was probably a pretty good move to hang on to him, as he can slide right back into rotation.
That pitch is inside for a ball. Now, David, I know your theory is you should have at least 8 pitchers that you can go to.
If you look at the numbers, especially trending over the last several years,
maybe not all in the big leagues, but somewhere in the minors.
You have to be ready. It's almost your second 5 starting, your backup 5 starting rotation are more important. It just has.
Ground ball over Tax. Drew has it. Martin covering at first, and he beats Flores, the limping Flores, for the 3rd out of the inning. So Cuddyer is left on base. The Mets score 2 more here in the 3rd. And at the end of 3 innings, the Mets have the lead over the Yankees by a score of 4-0. Nice play by Drew. Summers baseball is back in prime time as the Yankees take on the Tigers under the lights of Steinbrenner Field. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Mark your calendars for opening day, Monday, April the 6th, as the Yankees begin their regular season at home in the Bronx. It's right here on Yes. We'll be talking to manager Joe Girardi in the bottom of the 5th inning. Right here. In the top of the 4th, Stephen Drew takes a pitch high and away from Matt Harvey, who's still in there. Drew popped out to second his first time. He's 0 for 1. The Yankees have just one hit and one base runner against Harvey. There's a swing and a miss, and it's a ball and a strike. The Mets are hoping that Harvey can get off to the start that he did in 2013. He was National League Pitcher of the Month. He went 4-0 right out of the box to get his season started. That pitch, changeup, is in there for a call strike.
Well, the thing that really differentiates Harvey from a lot of young pitchers, even high potential pitchers, is really how polished he is. 4 pitches that he has great control with, really since day one when he showed up in a big league uniform.
Call, strike 3. Drew is caught looking.
I'll go ahead and give you our Geico team scouting report for the Mets. And the young guns, of course, you know, despite losing Zach Wheeler for the season to Tommy John surgery, the Mets have a lot of young starting pitching depth. Matt Harvey, we talked about. Jacob deGrom was a NL Rookie of the Year last year. A kid in Noah Syndergaard and Rafael Montero followed them up and snapped the streaks. The Mets have had 6 straight losing seasons, which they haven't made the postseason since 2006. Actually, that's 8 straight seasons that they haven't made the postseason. Looking to break that streak this year.
Ground ball by Headley. Nice play by Reynolds. Throws him out for out number 2.
And then obviously, lastly, on the scouting report, the right stuff. You know, after a down season offensively, we touched on it. David Wright right there. He had just 269 with 8 home runs last year. They want him to be healthy and productive this year. He's got some help in the lineup. We mentioned Michael Cuddyer. His buddy's going to follow him up in the lineup, and a resurgent Curtis Granderson. So David Wright's going to get some help this year, and if he can get back to form, the Mets really feel like they can make a postseason run.
Here's Mark Teixeira with 2 outs and nobody on. The pitch is low for ball 1. Teixeira has the only hit, a single to center field. Also stole it back. That was in the 2nd inning. The Mets are going to bring the fences in again at Citi Field this year. And according to the Mets, last year, if the fences were where they're going to be this year, they would have hit more home runs than the opposition. We'll see if that happens. Teixeira hits a ball into the air to left field. And Cuddyer is there. He'll make the catch. And Matt Harvey has yet another 1, 2, 3 innings. The Yankees going on to the bottom 4th. It's 4-0 Mets. It's a great giveaway that will help you follow the Yankees all season long. On Friday, April the 10th, when the Yankees take on the Red Sox, it's magnetic schedule night, and all guests in attendance will receive a Yankees 2015 magnetic schedule, courtesy of AT&T. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankee Clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. We have a new pitcher in the ball game for the New York Yankees, former Minnesota Twin Scott Baker. And he is making his third appearance of the spring. Control type pitcher, Dave. Remember him with the Twins and the Twin staff. They seem to be all the same type pitcher. Threw strikes, gave up some home runs, but they didn't walk many. Most of the homers were solo shots.
He's trying to have a resurgence in his career after some arm problems, shoulder issues. The Yankees took a flyer on him and brought him in. He can start or relieve, but can provide some rotation depth should the Yankees need it.
Here's Travis d'Arnaud, the Mets catcher, who had somewhat of a resurgence himself last year with the Mets. And he'll take the first pitch from Baker in there for a call strike. d'Arnaud hit only 180 before June and was sent to AAA. But then he hit 272 after his return to the Mets, so he got the message. That one misses, a ball and a strike. He went down to AAA and lit it up. But in his stretches with the Mets, he hit 13 home runs, so he showed some power. He led National League rookies in home runs. Fouled off just beyond the Yankee dugout. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Following the season, he had elbow surgery to take some bone chips out of him.
He's obviously the blue chip prospect that came over in the R.A. Dickey trade, as you mentioned. And
along with Noah Syndergaard.
Pretty good payoff from the Mets standpoint.
Yeah, it is. Pitch is on the ground. Gregarious shows off that strong arm, and there's one out here in the 4th. This is we're getting to the stretch of games now where the regulars stay in a little bit longer. Used to be 1 or 2 at bats and then you were out of the ball game, but now we're getting over 15 days to the regular season. You're going to be in there for 9 anyway, so you might as well start getting used to it. Here's Anthony Recker. He had a base hit his first time up. Now facing the right-hander Scott Baker. Chase Headley at third. Didi Gregorius at short. Stephen Drew at second, and the Rock, Mark Teixeira, at first base. Solid defenders all. That pitch is inside. Change up, ball 2-1. Or make it 2-0.
Yeah, undoubtedly, when you look at the Yankees potentially on the defensive end this year, they could be very, very good in terms of range and getting to more balls this year.
Hit high in the air to center field and fairly deep, but Heathcott, shielding his eyes from the sun, makes the catch for out number 2. Now, we didn't even mention Ellsbury in center and Gardner in left, and Beltran maybe not the range he once had in right field, but you know his elbow's feeling better, so he'll be able to throw better.
So a lot of the projections have the Yankees as a top 5 defensive team this year in all of baseball. The projections are projections, but the track record of the defenders that they're going to run out there this year are very good.
And in the long run, over the course of a 162-game season, that's going to save you some runs. Here's Matt Reynolds, and he takes a pitch from Baker in there for his call strike. Reynolds, a 2nd-round pick going back to 2012. And might be the Mets' second baseman of the future. Pitch is fouled off, and he's in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Baker throwing strikes. That's his reputation. Looks like Terry Collins checking with some players in the dugout for substitutions coming up in the next few innings.
No major league team nowadays goes through a full season with just five major league starters. More than twice that on average.
Breaking ball is lying towards the Mets bullpen. They scatter. And it's a foul ball off the bat of Matt Reynolds. A little March Madness breaks out here at Tradition Field. I don't know if anybody's going to beat Kentucky. They look pretty good. The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball is fouled off once again.
The Yankees could put together a pretty good front line with some of the height they have on their roster.
Well, Sabathia 6'7", Chris Martin 6'8".
Betances.
Don't forget Aaron Judge. I saw him here today. He's here.
He was impressive in batting practice.
Had a big hit in yesterday's game. Pinch hit single. Yankees rallied from 2 runs down in the ninth. That pitch is outside. Ball and 2 strikes to beat Houston. They scored 3 in the bottom of the ninth. And Joe Girardi sent Aaron Judge up there as a pinch hitter, and he eventually scored the tying run.
Well, every team likes to talk up their prospects, and this is the time of year to do it. But the Yankees have reason to be excited with their young prospects. Aaron Judge was knocking down the scoreboard today in batting practice.
And that one just misses. 2-2.
Thundering loud sounds coming off of his bat when he hits the ball. 6'7", 260.
You know who impressed me too is Greg Bird. Now he's not here, but I don't want to put this type of label on him, but I see a lot of Don Mattingly. I see the same sort of swing. Pitch is hit on the ground to short for Garrett. He gobbles it up, guns it to first, and it's a 1-2-3 for Scott Baker here in the 4th inning. There is Aaron Judge. He might be coming your way in the near future. 4-0 Mets at the end of 4. The authority of the New York Mets and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Matt Harvey out there for his 5th inning of work. He has thrown 48 pitches. He's scheduled to go 70 to 75 today.
Has not really been pushed at all.
No, he's only given up 1 hit, 1 base runner. That was Mark Teixeira's single in the 2nd inning. He'll get Garrett Jones, John Ryan Murphy, and Brendan Ryan here in the 5th inning. And the first pitch is high and away to Garrett Jones. The Yankees are looking for Jones to DH, back up Mark Teixeira at first base, and provide some left-handed power. That pitch is fouled off. Ball and a strike.
What Jones gives the Yankees for the first time in several years is a true backup first baseman. We've seen with the injuries to Teixeira over the last couple of years that the Yankees have gotten caught short in that department of a true first baseman.
That pitch is low, 2-1. Last year, Chase Headley had to go across the diamond. Brian McCann had to play a little first base. That should not be the case this year with Garrett Jones on the roster. Swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch, and the count levels at 2-2. Well, the wind has picked up even more, blowing out towards right field. Curtis Granderson playing shallow out and right. I think his thinking is the ball's hit high in the air. I'm not going to catch it anyway. Ball hit on the ground to the right side. Duda on the backhand. Harvey covering. And it's 1 up and 1 down for the Yankees here in the 5th inning. Here's that routine play. They work on time. And if you had $1 for every time you covered first base in spring training, you probably wouldn't be here right now.
It's true. No doubt about it. And nothing worse than if you mess that play up, too. The pitching coach, you could see the look on his face. And so it's certainly a play as a pitcher you want to make sure you get right.
And the Mets pitching coach, a left-hander back in the day with Dan Warthen. 1 out. John Ryan Murphy at the plate. He flied out to center field. And he lines one into center field for a base hit here. So second hit of the afternoon for the New York Yankees. A solid single to center by John Ryan Murphy. So he's on with 1 down here in the 5th.
Good approach against a power guy. First pitch. If it's up and out over the plate, take a swing at it. Murphy looking for some hits this spring in the middle of a battle for the backup catcher spot. That one had to feel pretty good. A little relief after that hit.
So he's on for Brendan Ryan, who's the designated hitter this afternoon. Ryan grounded out to first his first time up. He's only had 4 at-bats this spring. He was dealing with the back ailment. And the first pitch is in there for a strike from Matt Harvey. Ball bounced towards second. This could be 2. Reynolds to Flores to Duda, and it's a 4-6-3 double play. And that will do it for the Yankees here in the top of the 5th. At the end of 4.5. It's still 4-0 Mets. Here in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and Yankee manager Joe Girardi is kind enough to join us. And Joe, welcome. It's David Cohn and myself today.
Well, I would expect Coney to be here on a day like today.
Yeah, this is his first game of the spring, and he's in mid-season form.
I'm sure.
Back at my old stomping grounds here in Port St. Lucie.
You know, it's probably changed a lot since you've been here, though.
Yeah, it is. There's a couple of restaurants now here. So.
Joe, CC Sabathia made the start. Now, he gave up the 3 home runs, but David and I agree. He has thrown the ball much better than he did last year.
Yeah, he actually said something to me about how he's throwing the ball much better. He feels a lot better. And last spring, he didn't give up any runs. So I said, I'll take what we're getting now. And to me, it's knocking the rust off. It's the consistency that, he'll get as he continues to pitch.
The pitch is in there for a strike to Lagares leading off for the Mets. Any news on Perella after running into the wall in center field?
He's getting a CAT scan, so hopefully he's back before the game is over, and I'll get a chance to see how he's doing. But he was dizzy and did not feel good, so they took him right away to get a CAT scan. Now,
is the team going back to Tampa tonight?
Some of them are.
All right.
And then some of them will continue on to Vieira and play tomorrow. So the infielders will be off tomorrow. So they will go back.
And we'll see Brett Gardner up in Vieira tomorrow.
Correct. And Brian McCann, and I'm not sure who else is coming.
Any news on Ellsbury and his injury situation?
Definitely feels better. Is progressing the right way. I think he'll start some baseball stuff, some activity next week, but he definitely feels better.
So it's
I guess that would be this week. Whatever. Today's Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So early next, in a couple days.
15 days ago before the season starts.
Yes.
Pitches inside the Lagares for a ball. And this is where things have to start coming together, not only for pitchers but the regulars as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you want them to continue to progress where they feel good at the plate, and I think we're seeing a lot better swings. I think you're seeing us barrel up a lot more balls, even though we haven't scored off of Harvey. I mean, I think we've taken some pretty good swings.
This ball is hit in the air to right field. Going back is Garrett Jones at the base of the warning track, and he makes the catch for out number 1 here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, we've seen some good plays defensively, and guys comfortable with the shift when something happens and someone has to go cover base. I think they've done a really good job in their communication. So I think things are coming together.
Up until today, the team had scored 29 runs in the last 4 games. So as you say, maybe the bats are starting to come together here.
Yeah, I think they are. I'm seeing the ball hit a lot harder, a lot more balls barreled up, and that's what you want to see. And what you want to happen in the next 2 weeks is they just fine tune, and they feel really good about themselves when they leave. Come April 4th from here.
Now, did you see Joe Torre before the game? I had a chance to speak to him briefly.
Yes, I did. Yes, he's been here a couple days, so he's making his rounds in Florida. We saw him a couple days ago in Tampa. So,
well, also you got Curtis at the plate, and you got Kevin Long. It's like former Yankee days.
Yeah, and Pat Russler is here as well. And it was good to see some of the guys.
See what happens with this pitch to Curtis, and it's outside. Now, what are you looking for from Scott Baker?
Well, I mean, he's one of the guys that is in this mix, and we've talked about him as a starter. So we're going to stretch him out today. This is not just a 1 or 2 inning. We've talked about stretching him out. And for him, he knows he's a corner guy that relies on some movement. And for him, it's important to pitch ahead in the count. He's behind here with Curtis, so. You got to be careful here, but he's a guy that has had success in his career, and he's healthy again, and we're hoping he can help us.
This ball is popped high in the air, and the wind's going to carry it out towards center field for Heathcock, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. So far, so good for Baker.
Yeah, I mean, just getting better counts and continue to stay down like he does. I mean, he's a guy that he pitched in a small ballpark for a while in Minnesota and had some success, so he understands what he needs to do.
Well, it's so true, Joe. I mean, no major league team goes through a whole season with just the 5 starters.
No.
I mean, most teams probably average double that. I think last year I saw a number where some teams were up around 15 different starters used through the year on average, definitely into double digits. So, I'm sure that you have to take that into account looking at a guy like Scott Baker, and really your second 5 starters, maybe your top 3 in AAA or the next in line, can be so important for you. And have you gotten a feel on maybe who would be next in line other than your top 5?
Well, we're looking at Mitchell, and obviously we're looking at Rogers and Warren and Baker. And, when you look at it, they might play the most pivotal role during a season because of what they have to do.
Joe, thanks a lot for your time.
Guys.
Once again, a 1-2-3 inning.
Coney, welcome back.
5. And at the end of 5, it's the Mets 4 and the Yankees nothing. Slade Heathcock will lead it off for the Yankees here in the 6th inning. Ken Singleton along with David Cohn. The Mets and the Yankees from Port St. Lucie, Florida. And Matt Harvey still in there has allowed the Yankees just 2 hits. Here's Heathcock. And he swings at the first pitch and lifts a high fly ball to left field for Cuddyer. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the 6th. Harvey's still trying to get to his pitch count. He's 57 pitches. He's supposed to go 75.
Probably going to have to go to the bullpen after he gets out of this game to throw some more pitches.
Well, there is somebody warming up in the Mets pen. Sean Gilmartin, the left-hander. Ramon Flores was a strikeout victim, and he takes the first pitch in there for a call strike in the 6th inning. The Yankees have gotten singles from Mark Teixeira and John Ryan Murphy, and that's been it. Those are the only 2 base runners against Matt Harvey.
It's a tremendous combination of power and control from Harvey all day.
Ball's lined right at Duda at first base. That is out number 2.
And he's had the atom ball going today, too. Anytime the Yankees have hit the ball hard, it's been right at a Met defender.
I think this is going to be it. Manager Terry Collins is on his way to the mound. Should be a nice round of applause from the Met partisans here at Tradition Field. Matt Harvey allowed just 2 hits and no runs. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. We'll be right back. And you can see he was excellent. 60 pitches in 5 2/3 innings. The first pitch from Sean Gilmartin is in there for a call strike to Didi Gregorius. Gregorius today has popped to short and struck out. Ball and a strike. Gilmartin, a Rule 5 draft from the Minnesota Twins organization, which means the Mets paid Minnesota, what, $50,000 to add them to the roster. And if they keep him, the rule is he has to stay all year in the big leagues. If they send him back to the Twins, the Mets only get half their money back. So it's sort of a look-see. They need a left-hander in the bullpen with the injury to Josh Edgin. Could it be Sean Gilmartin? Ground ball to the right side. Reynolds to Duda, and the Yankees go 1-2-3 here in the 6th inning. Gilmartin gets the job done. Lefty on lefty. Matt Harvey looked great this afternoon. It's 4-0 Mets. Check out the Mazda upcoming schedule, as the Yankees will have a busy week. On Tuesday night, the Detroit Tigers are at Steinbrenner Field. On Wednesday afternoon, it'll be these very same New York Mets who will take on the Yankees. And then on Friday, division rival Baltimore Orioles will be in Steinbrenner Field, game time 1:05, and then is the rest of the spring training schedule to follow. As we get ready to go to the bottom of the 6th inning, Scott Baker's still here and deals to Lucas Duda in there for a strike. Right now we're going to go down to Jack Curry, who's standing by for today's Yankee starter.
Thanks very much, Kenny. CC, second time since May that you've faced major league hitters. How would you evaluate the way you pitched out there?
I mean, obviously the result is not the one I wanted, but I felt great. You know, I have no complaints physically. Ball's coming out of my hand good. You know, it's just a matter of cleaning up a few things in my delivery, and you know, I think I'm closer to getting a lot better.
You bring up an interesting dilemma. As a veteran pitcher, you want to get your work in. You want to work on pitches. You get 4 strikeouts, but you also allow 3 home runs. How do you balance wanting to get your work in, but also the competitor in you doesn't want to give up any runs?
Yeah, of course. And you know, I said this earlier. I think, you know, last year I went all the spring training not giving up runs, but not feeling good and kind of wondering where my delivery was at, how I was going to get guys out. You know, I'd much rather give up runs and feel like I did today than not give up runs and feel like I did last year.
You've been consistent about saying wherever your fastball ends up, that's the velocity you have to win with. But the gun had you at 94 today, which was something you didn't hit last spring. Does it feel like the ball's coming out of your hand with more power? No,
yeah, it does. And I feel like I have more power, and that's what's encouraging. So, you know, like I said, it's just a matter of time before I can get into a good groove and, you know, hopefully start pitching well.
When you have that extra velocity, how much better does that make your changeup and your slider?
I mean, just the arm speed, you know, on my slider, and I call it a cutter. You guys call it a slider. Just the arm speed on my cutter, it makes a big difference for the hitters. So, you know, I think that's going to help me a lot this year.
We're about 2 weeks away from opening day. Joe Girardi hasn't named an opening day starter yet. Is that important to you if you were to be the guy to get that call?
I wish I can say I sit here and say it would. Obviously, you want to, you know, get that opening day start and be the guy to take the mound. But for me, since I didn't pitch last year, and I want to finish the season. So whatever day I start, you know, I want to finish. So that's the biggest thing for me. I'm not really worried about opening day. I pitched a lot of opening days in my life, so you know, I'm just more worried about trying to finish and be there in the postseason.
And then last question: between now and when the team does break camp, what are the few final things that you would still like to put in place so that you feel complete and ready to go?
No, I mean, I definitely need to clean up my delivery, especially out of the windup, get my leg kick with a good tempo. Sometimes I'm too slow, sometimes I'm too fast. You know, I can't get a good rhythm. So that'll be something I'll be working on the next 2 weeks, and you know, hopefully I can carry a good rhythm into the season.
Thanks very much, CC. Kenny and David, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jack. That was Jack Curry with CC Sabathia, who started the game for the Yankees today. Jack made a good point. 4 strikeouts but 3 home runs, and CC said, well, it's a matter of getting his timing back and cleaning up some things in his delivery. 2 outs, nobody on for the Mets. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Wilmer Flores is at the plate. He takes a pitch outside for a ball from Scott Baker.
You see, nobody wants to give up 3 home runs as Sabathia did today, but you could just tell by the look on his face that he's really encouraged with how he feels physically.
2 balls and no strikes.
Nobody really knew what to expect coming into this year. The Yankees, really Yankee fans, the training staff, that guy right there, Larry Rothschild, but what they've seen from him in terms of power has to be extremely encouraging for them.
Ground ball to short. Gregorius has it. Guns it to first, and that'll do it. The Mets go quietly here in the 6th. It's on to the 7th inning. On the east coast of Florida, 4-0. The Mets have the lead. On our Ford scoreboard, it's 4-0. Mets over the Yankees, top of the 7th. You can see a minor league game between looks like Braves and Mets minor leaguers. And that is just beyond the wall on one of the far fields, left center field here. David, I can remember playing in those games, and you're just hoping. You can hear the noise from the big league stadium. You can hear the crowd, and just hoping maybe one day I'll get over it.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's part of the design nowadays, where you, not only for convenience factor do you want your whole minor league fields close to the major league park, but for days like today when you can peek over the fence and see, dangle the carrot, so to speak. That's what's out there for you.
Well, the Yankees have their minor league complex just down Dale Mabry, that long boulevard in Tampa, and they can call their minor leaguers over to play. Pitch to Stephen Drew is outside for a ball, 1-2 from Sean Gilmartin. And that was instructionally. That is me. What delayed Ralph Kiner, and Ralph was a Hall of Fame baseball player, first of all, but longtime Met broadcaster. And believe it or not, when they shot that day, we played an instructional game, and I hit a home run, and Ralph said, "That's what I'm talking about." So that's what dreams. He was talking about using your lower body for power. And Ralph did it as well as, I think he led the National League in home runs 7 years in a row.
Yeah, he was a legend on and off the field.
With the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that pitch misses to Drew, and it's inside for a ball.
Going on Kiner's corner when I was a Met was a real thrill. You had not arrived as a Met unless you got to go on Kiner's corner.
Swing and a miss, and Drew has struck out against Sean Gilmartin leading off the 7th inning. You know, I watched Kiner's corner growing up, and in those days they played more doubleheaders. So Ralph would not only have a postgame show, he have a show in between the two games, and it was classic. And eventually I got on it as well, and I was thinking, man, I'm living the dream. I'm on Kiner's corner. Here's Chase Headley, switch hitter, jumps to the right side to face the lefty Gilmartin.
He could talk. He had good rap. Worked on Elizabeth Taylor.
Good rap. Headley's 0 for 2. He's grounded out to second twice. Remember, he had Choo-Choo Coleman on once. Choo-Choo was not very talkative, and Ralph was striving to get this interview done. And he finally said, "Choo-Choo, what's your wife's name?" And Choo-Choo said, "Mrs. Coleman." Choo-Choo, one of the Mets of the early years. He was a catcher. And that pitch misses for a ball. 2 balls and a strike on Headley. He'll be followed by Mark Teixeira, yet another switch hitter in the Yankee lineup. We're in the 7th. Mets leading 4-0. Just missed the corner, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Here's a hitter's count for Chase Headley.
Really going to be interesting to see Chase Headley with a full year in pinstripes, playing third base, and kind of revived himself coming over at the middle of last year in that trade. But he really was one of those guys who had never experienced New York, and he fell in love with playing for the Yankees, and he clearly wanted to come back.
Change up is in for a strike. Now, New York and San Diego, where Headley came from when he was traded, they're about as diverse as you could get. Look at the on-base percentage, .371 with the Yankees. 3-2 pitch, and that is ball 4. It just missed. Gilmartin thought he had a strike, but Headley has himself a base on balls. You see pitchers do that slow burn on a 3-2 pitch that just misses, or they thought was a strike and the umpire didn't.
There's a lot of talk about the strike zone in the offseason among Major League Baseball executives, and maybe not calling the low pitch as much.
Teixeira takes, and that is in there for a call strike. Pinch runner looks to be Cole Figueroa.
one of the things they found, Kenny, you know, over the last 10 years or so, and all the radar tracking technology and the umpires being graded on the strike zone now, similar to like a cyclops in tennis. Is originally the plan was to call the high strike, you know, back to the Jim Palmer days. Why don't we call the high strike anymore? Well, what they found out was the radar tracking system rang up a lot of the lower strikes. And progressively, the strike zone over the last 10 years has come down. Of course, that's sort of on par, too, with pitching coaches teaching keep the ball down, keep the ball in the ballpark. A lot more two-seamers, a lot more emphasis on ground balls nowadays.
Now, David, I know you're a pitcher. You might get upset with me by saying this, but if they want to speed up these games, take away the low strike, more strikes will be thrown. Pitchers might not be happy because you have to bring the ball up, and more balls will be put in play. Hitters will be swinging. But that remains to be seen, because to me it looks like they're calling them just the way they used to.
Yeah, it's these things happen slowly and organically. You can't just tell an umpire to change his whole interpretation of the strike zone. But one thing that really has happened is that the low strike has really been called more.
Hit hard, great stop by Wright. Throws the second for one on the first, and it's a double play. 5-4-3 sparkling double play, started by two-time Gold Glover David Wright. That'll do it for the Yankees here in the 7th inning. It's on to the 7th inning stretch. 4-0 Mets. Watching that last double play turn, and was Matt Reynolds on the bag? Doesn't appear so. In the old neighborhood play. On our Ford scoreboard, it's 4-0 Mets. You don't get many arguments in spring training like you do during the regular season. Trevor Starno will lead it off, and he is 0 for 2. He struck out, grounded to short, facing Scott Baker. And this is towards center field, and he went for a base hit. So Darno has himself a leadoff single here in the 7th inning against Baker. First hit that Baker's given up. He's been in there since the 4th inning. I'm going to take a look at the changes by the Yankees on defense. Jonathan Galvez in left. Garrett Jones and Slade Heathcott still in there. Cole Figueroa at third. Nick Noonan at short. Rob Refsnyder at second. Francisco Arcia at first. And Austin Romine now doing the catching. Swing and a miss by Anthony Recker. Strike one. Recker's been the DH He's had a single. He's also flied out to center field.
See Baker been able to be stretched out here, up over 40 pitches now.
Good breaking ball, drops in for a strike. 0-2. He's won as many as 15 games in a season. He did that for the Minnesota Twins. Fouled off. Now Adam Warren has looked very, very strong this spring, and he's a candidate for the 5th starting spot. But Warren proved his value for the ball club last year with his ability to pitch out of the bullpen. So that's where somebody like Scott Baker might come into play to fill that role in the 5th starter spot that was vacated by the injury to Tris Capuano.
Yeah, it's almost as if Adam Warren is a victim of his own versatility.
Chopper foul.
By all rights, you know, a high draft pick by the Yankees, developed by their system as a starter, has done everything they've asked, including pitching extremely well out of the bullpen the last couple of years, and has earned a right to start the way he's pitched this spring. So it's really kind of out of his hands. He's done everything that's asked of him, including, in my opinion, earning a spot in the rotation or a chance to start in the major leagues.
So who takes his role in the bullpen?
Got a number of guys here in camp. You know,
swing and a miss, and Recker is struck out.
Well, that's a question for the organization. Joe Girardi and Brian Cashman will decide that, and what's more valuable to their team and their makeup of their team right now. Let's see. Baker with a good changeup, straight down.
Here is Matt Reynolds been coming to the plate.
But just from Adam Warren's perspective, you know, obviously he wants to be a starter. Everybody who's been a starter in the minor leagues or throughout your whole career, and you get your first chance to crack a rotation, and you perform the way he has this spring. You know, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow if you don't get it after you've earned it.
Well, the thing is, that's the way pitchers used to earn their way into the starting rotation, going through the bullpen,
which he's done.
High chopper towards third. Figueroa has it. Goes to Refsnyder for one. On the first, scooped out of the dirt by Arcia, but not in time. So Reynolds forces Darno at second, and there's 2 down and a man on.
Just not enough time to get it turned. Too much air on the first hop. You see, there's a look at Refsnyder, Rob Refsnyder, a good-looking young prospect that the Yankee fans have heard so much about. He's had a good spring, too. He's swinging the bat.
Pinch hitter is Matt Dendecker. He's taking over for Juan Lagares. And left-handed hitter takes a pitch in there for a called strike. Spent some time with the Mets last year. You can see what he's done this spring training. Out of the University of Florida, Matt Dendecker. Bouncing ball to the right side. Refsnyder has it. Throws the first in time. The Mets get a hit, nothing else here in the 7th against Scott Berger. It's on to the 8th. 4-0 Mets. against the Mets. Garrett Jones will lead it off, and he takes a pitch in there for a called strike. The Mets have made several changes defensively. And right now we're going to kick it down to Jack Curry, who's standing by with a guest.
Thanks very much, Kenny. John Ryan, what did you think of the way CC Sabathia performed today?
I think he threw really well. He left a couple pitches in the middle of the plate. A lot of wind today. They got it up in the wind, and a couple balls got out of there. But I just talked to him, and he said he felt really good, and the ball's coming out of his hand a lot better.
He was really encouraged by his velocity when I spoke to him. The gun had him as high as 94. How big a difference do you see in his velocity between when you caught him last year and this year?
Yeah, I could tell in the bullpen today. This is the first time I've caught him this spring, but I could tell in the bullpen today that it was going to be coming out better. And I've been seeing that in his bullpens too and talking to him. He said he feels strong, so that's no surprise. But 94 is a good number to see out of him, especially out of last year. And like you said, last year the velocity wasn't there. I think he definitely feels stronger this year.
It's probably more of a question for Joe Girardi, but I want to ask you anyway. A healthy CC Sabathia in the rotation, how valuable and how important would that be for the Yankees?
Oh, CC's, had a tremendous career, so anytime his presence is even in the locker room, it's felt around the clubhouse and around the league. So, having him out there every fifth day on our side is a lot better than having him on the other side.
Catchers always have to talk about pitchers. I got to ask you one question about yourself as we finish up here. You're battling for that backup catcher spot. How would you evaluate the way you've performed this spring and how you think you're doing in that competition?
I feel good. I haven't got as many hits as I'd like, but hitting is definitely secondary of my game. I got to control the pitchers and work on my catching first off. So hitting will come. That's just a matter of timing and getting the at bats. But overall, I feel really good.
Thanks, John Ryan. Kenny and David, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jack. As a new pitcher is coming to the ball game. And a reminder that today's game on Yes is brought to you in part by Dodge. Come in for high-powered deals during the Dodge Awards season event. By Chase, with more ways to serve you in your neighborhood and on the go. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. Here's a look at Tradition Field from a distance. Big crowd on hand today. New pitcher in the ball game for the New York Mets. Tall right-hander Eric Goodell. And this will be his 7th appearance of the spring. And the first batter he will face will be Austin Romine, who took over for John Ryan Murphy. John Ryan was 1 for 2 while he was in the ball game. The Mets have showed some strong pitching this afternoon. The Yankees are just 2 hits against the Mets pitching. And the first pitch to Romine is fouled off to the right. New first baseman Eric Campbell will make the catch for the out. Reaching into the camera well to make the play. Nice play, and it's 2 down. So with 2 down and nobody on, Brendan Ryan will come to the plate. Ryan started as the designated hitter this afternoon. He's grounded out. That was in the 2nd inning, and then hit into a 4-6-3 double play in the 5th inning. And he takes that first pitch in there for a strike, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Swing and a miss, a half swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. So the bus left Tampa at 7:30 this morning. Early wake-up call. The bats are still sleeping somewhat. Only 2 hits. Ball is hit in the air, foul down the right field side. This is going to turn into a souvenir.
Different state of affairs in Florida for spring training as opposed to Arizona. Multiple teams so close together in Arizona that you rarely have more than an hour trip.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's it for the Yankees here in the 8th. So Goodell comes in and gets 2 outs. There's CC Sabathia signing autographs. CC drove over last night. He's on his way back to Tampa. We'll see him later on this week. Pitch of the bottom of the 8th is high to Cesar Puello, who took over for Curtis Granderson. And we have Jack Curry with us in the booth, who's joining David and myself. And Jack, CC's seems like he has a good feel about himself, even though the results might not be what he liked today.
He was encouraged today, Kenny. You heard the interview that I did with him, but then off camera we talked a little bit too. And you're right, no pitcher wants to give up 3 home runs. We have a pitcher sitting to our right who could tell us what that experience is like. But in CC Sabathia's case, he hadn't pitched since last May. You have to focus on getting him ready for opening day. Those homers aren't what you look at. You look at how's the ball coming out of the guy's hand. How is he hitting the gun? Does he like the movement in his changeup? Does he like the movement in his cutter? He likes all of those things. As you heard him say, he wants to tidy up his mechanics a little bit. But even he was happy with that 94. In fact, afterwards he said to me, "You said I hit 94. What was I throwing consistently?" He wanted to know what the gun said.
Now, earlier in the game, at least first offensive play for the Mets, the inside the park home run from Juan Lagares. Wait a minute. David gave up 3 home runs? David didn't even smile when you said that's Aaron Judge, and Judge crashes into the wall, but he can't make the play. Judge took over in right field for Garrett Jones. If anybody could reach it, I guess when you're 6'7", he could have reached it.
About knocked over the wall. 6'7", 260.
I'm just assuming that there was a game where you gave up 3 home runs.
More, yes, absolutely. In spring training, and it's different. It's a different mentality in spring training. It really is. It's much easier. But you see Aaron Judge, who moves very well, by the way, for somebody who's 6'7", 260. But you do really worry about the stuff from Sabathia. The stuff was very good.
Line drive, and it's snared by the shortstop, Nick Noonan. And there's 1 down.
You know, in other words, you give CC Sabathia his power back, he knows what to do with it. He'll figure it out once he gets his mechanics down, gets a little more few more reps under his belt. The fact that he's throwing with power again changes the whole equation in my mind. You're not hearing about learning a two-seamer in the spring like he did last year, or learning how to pitch.
Scott Baker out of the game. Jack and Dave will be back with me in just a moment. New pitcher coming on for the Yankees. CBS's annual Yankees season preview special. Join our broadcast team for a look at this year's biggest storylines, including exclusive one-on-one player interviews, power, trying to make that pride power in pinstripes. Premieres next Saturday at 4 after the Yankee game, only on Yes. Jack, you had a chance to interview CeCe on that show.
Been spending a lot of time with CeCe lately, Kenny. Yeah, I did talk to CeCe that day. One funny exchange. He came out to do the interview with, I'm giving something away here, but he had a big ice pack on his shoulder. And he looked at us and he said, is it okay if I do the interview with the ice pack on my shoulder? I said, it's okay with me. It's not going to change the way I ask my questions, but you're going to be going into this program with an ice pack on your shoulder. And he said, heck, I'm 35. I need this ice. Let's go. Let's go do the interview.
Daniel Munoz is the hitter for the New York Mets, facing Chasen Shreve, who's come in to pitch. The left-hander who spent some time with the Atlanta Braves last year. Came to the Yankees in exchange for Manny Banuelos, along with right-hander David Carpenter. And this will be the 7th appearance of the spring for Shreve, who did some fine pitching for the Atlanta Braves last year. 15 games, he worked to an ERA of 0.73.
Kenny, he's got 2 strikes. Excuse me. Look for the split change. I talked to him about that about a week ago. When he gets to 2 strikes on righties, he likes to throw this split change. It either dives down or it dives to the left. There it is.
See ya. Last year he had 15 strikeouts in just over 12 innings. Only walked 3, and he picks up a strikeout the first man he faces. Jack,
he does it. You threw the splitter. You should be doing the replay, but he doesn't hold it like a Tanaka does, or maybe you did, David, where you dig it really deep into your 2 fingers. He kind of leaves it a little soft, he said, and that for him is what helps him get the movement. That's why it's a split change.
Here's Eric Campbell, the first baseman. He took over for Lucas Duda, had a home run in 3 at-bats, and the first pitch is low and away for ball 1.
Well, that's actually the way Roger Craig taught the split finger back in the 80s. You know, the difference between a splitter is sort of what you're describing right there, sort of a softer grip as opposed to a forkball, which is really buried into your fingers.
Pitches in the dirt for a ball. So Roger Craig was the one who came up with that pitch, huh?
He was one of the sort of the godfather of the split-fingered fastball, and you know, a lot of people, there's sort of a misinterpretation of a forkball and a split-fingered fastball, and the way Jack described that grip is more of a split-finger fastball.
Ball is hit high and deep to left field. Gallis looks up. This one's gone. A long home run off the bat of Eric Campbell. And it's now 5-0 Mets. They've hit 4 home runs in the ball game today. That ball was smoked because it was against the wind.
Hard to tell right there. Looks something off speed as well. That might have been the split finger. But you see it just sped up the bat of Campbell, who was able to get the barrel in front of home plate along with the angle of attack, which launched that ball way back.
Kirk Neuenhuis is the hitter, and he'll take a pitch in there for a called strike. There's one more look. Don't blink, folks. This got out of here in a hurry.
It looked like a fastball. Looked like it was just a fastball right there. Good job by Campbell jumping all over it.
Hit hard, over short, into left center field for a base hit. So Neuenhuis is on with 2 outs. And the Mets now with 9 hits in the game. So Jack, before the game, we saw Joe Girardi talking about the 5th starter spot. I saw you part of the scrum down there, so I just walked away because I knew you were all over it. What did Joe have to say?
And guess what else, Kenny? I followed up behind the batting cage because I wanted some one-on-one time. What Joe said is it's a situation where he wants to take all the information he has. He's looking to make a decision by about March 28th. But I floated a scenario to him. I said, it looks right now, and that ball's going to get out of play. If you look at the numbers, Adam Warren would be your guy. He to me, seemed to be the guy who's had the best spring to be the 5th starter. I said to him, looks like you'll need your 5th starter 3 times in April. So let's take those 18 innings. Are you evaluating whether Warren's 18 innings and 3 starts are more valuable to you there, or sprinkled across 8, 9, or 10 appearances in the bullpen? He said that's exactly part of one of the things that we're doing. Where does a guy like Warren have the most value for you? You want him to use him 7 times in 12 days, or do you want to be able to use them once every 5 or 6 days?
Now, here's my point about him working out of the bullpen. He made 69 appearances last year out of the pen. 63 of those, he allowed 1 run or less. So he was very effective out of the pen. So that's the dilemma that the Yankees are facing. Ball's hit high in the air to left field. Galvin's going back, still going back, near the wall, and the ball is up against the wall. Neuenhuis is going to score. It's going to be a double for Ruben Tejada, and now the Mets lead it 6-0. That one almost got out of here. So the replacements for the Mets are swinging the bats.
It's one thing about spring training in the minor league ballparks. There's no upper decks. So when it's breezy and windy, there's nothing to stop these balls from carrying and carrying. That's why it can be a little deceiving in spring training when you see big home runs or days like today when the ball's jumping. Everything in the air is jumping today. And when you get in a big league ballpark with an upper deck, it's a much different equation as far as how the wind affects the ball.
Johnny Monell is the hitter. And the pitch is low for a ball. Now, in yesterday's ball game, I believe, did Andrew Bailey get the game yesterday? And
he's made 2 appearances so far. One of them was yesterday. The Yankees like what they have seen out of him, Kenny, but I asked Joe Girardi about him, too. And as he's figuring out that bullpen, Shreve, of course, is part of that equation. And he's had a couple rough outings in a row now. But the thing that Joe said about Bailey that I thought was very interesting, he said, this is a great story. We're watching this kid come back. We want to see if we can get this story until the end. But you can't bring Andrew Bailey into a major league game in the regular season until you know he's 100%. He's got to get him in back-to-back outings. He's got to see how he responds after being in back-to-back outings. Then you have to do that again. So when you look at the clock, you look at the calendar, you don't see Andrew Bailey traveling north with the Yankees. And I think what Joe said, I mean, he's looking out for Andrew Bailey. So you're not going to bring this guy back when he's 85 or 90%, and then he has a recurrence of an injury with that shoulder, and then his career is over. You want to know that he's ready to go 100%.
Andrew Bailey, of course, a former closer, and had done the job primarily with the Oakland A's, made the All-Star team. But then the injury bug set in. He pitched for the Red Sox for a while, was not 100% there, and is making his way back and is making a lot of progress. But I understand what you mean. First of all, you're getting up north. It's kind of cold up north this time of year. It could be hard to get loose. 6-0 Mets. Bouncing ball over the mound. Looks like Nick Noonan's going to make the play. The throw to first is in time. That's going to do it for the New York Mets here in the 8th inning. But they add 2 more runs. It's on to the 9th. Last chance for the Yankees. They're down 6-0. And it's time for the game summary brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company. CC Sabathia worked 2 2/3 in his start. 5 hits, 4 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Matt Harvey was excellent for the New York Mets. 5 2/3, only 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. McGarris, Duda, Wright, Campbell have all homered for the New York Mets. They are swinging the bats very well this spring. They came into this game with a team batting average of .295. So they continue to swing the hot bats, and today hitting for power. Slade Heathcock will face a new pitcher, Dwayne Below, and the left-hander deals a call strike. Top of the ninth, last chance for the Yanks. So far they've been shut out on 2 hits, and they've only had 3 base runners, a couple of singles and a walk. That walk was followed by a double play. That pitch is high for a ball, and it's 1-1. So far it's been a day for the New York Mets. The Yankees are hoping to return the favor next Wednesday night. We'll have that game for you on Yes over at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. As the Mets will travel.
Masahiro Tanaka pitching that game too, Kenny.
Okay. It's Tanaka time Wednesday night as he prepares for the regular season. Bouncer foul at home plate area. Got a piece of the catcher. Monell looks like he's okay. Tough position, that catching. I tried it for 1 week in Little League and I didn't like it. 2 for the price of 1 at the catcher and the umpire. Home plate umpire is Sean Barber. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Below strikes out Heathcock. 1 down in the 9th inning. Mets hitters have looked strong today, and so has their pitching. Here's Jonathan Galvis.
One thing I noticed before the game, Kenny and Jack, is when Matt Harvey was warming up in the bullpen, it seemed like the whole team was gathered around behind him just to watch. Just shows you how important he is psychologically to the Mets and their players. And he went around and shook everybody's hand before he started this game. So you see that in minor leagues sometimes. You don't really see it in a major league game.
You see it in college games.
It looked like the College World Series. Looked like he was warming up before the College World Series.
About a week ago, Army was playing UMass in Tampa. I went to catch a few innings of the game, and the one thing that jumped out at me was the enthusiasm. You just don't see that at the major league level.
Under the glove and into left field for a base hit. That's Matt Reynolds at shortstop. He couldn't come up with that one. We'll see how they score. I believe that's going to be a base hit. It was a tough play, but he made it look even tougher. Reynolds has moved from second to short.
Kind of all or nothing, doesn't get down.
Let's see how they score it. They have not put anything up on the board as of yet. Well, it's going to go as an E6. So an error on Reynolds, who started the day at second base, now playing shortstop. Nick Noonan's at the plate. It's his first at bat of the afternoon. Gregorius was 0 for 3. The pitch is hit on the ground and foul. Just outside the line as Eric Campbell came up for it. And Galvis will head back to first base. Campbell made the most of his one at bat today. In a home run last inning. That's what Noonan's done so far this spring. The Yankees got him from the Giants organization. As Noonan has a good swing and fouled it back.
You know, Jack, you were mentioning before about the battle for the 5th starter spot on the Yankees, and Adam Warren and Rogers battling, and Tanaka probably going to be the opening day starter because Sabathia is not quite there yet, even though velocity and power wise he looked good. But what about the talk of the 6-man rotation and potentially giving Tanaka that extra day? throughout the year this year. It's certainly got to impact their decision. I think it'd be wise to give Tanaka extra rest whenever you can this year, and maybe even Sabathia at some point. But Tanaka clearly trained to throw once every 6 days in Japan. Has obviously a well-documented elbow issue right now.
Noonan, this one into center field. It's going to drop in there for a base hit. So the Yankees, for the first time today, have put 2 men on base. And talking about 6-man rotation, I don't know how you guys feel, but I think this is the wave of the future. Just to try and protect pitchers, and you're getting all these elbow injuries. Just ask the Mets. And if they could stretch out some pitchers a little bit more, and they might have these guys to work with.
If you told Joe Girardi right now you want 28 starts out of Tanaka where you're not worried, or you want to try and push the envelope and get 32 or 33 where there might be a situation where he doesn't feel himself, he's fatigued, you take the 27 or the 28. And David has talked about this going on over a year. I know that he's an advocate of it. And I think you're right, Kenny. I think teams will start to look at that more and more. Protect those assets you have at the top of the rotation.
You said the right word, fatigue, and all the medical experts now and all the recent data shows that when guys break down, when Tommy John surgery is necessary, elbows break down, it's generally because of fatigue. That's when the injuries happen.
Rob Refsnyder hits the ground ball to short. Reynolds has this one to Tejada for one on the Campbell, and the ball game is over. A 6-4-3 double play. And the Mets come up on the winning side by a score of 6-0 against the Yankees this afternoon. So the Mets showed off their power with 4 home runs. They also showed off some power pitching from their starter, Matt Harvey, to get the job done today here at Tradition Field. There are the totals: 6 runs, 10 hits, and error for the Mets. And on the scoreboard, we can see the time of the ball game was 2 hours and 24 minutes. For the Yankees, no runs, 3 hits, no errors. Harvey the winner, Sabathia the loser. 2 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. That'll do it from Tradition Field here in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Michael Cooney, Mike Webb, Woody Fryman, and our executive producers, Mr. John J. Filippella. Join us again Tuesday for Yankees baseball as the Bombers take on the Detroit Tigers at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. on the Yes Network. Once again, the final score: the Mets 6, the Yankees 0. For David Cohn and Jack Curran, I'm Ken Singleton saying so long, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.